There is a food that sits in the refrigerators of billions of people around the world. It is a perfect self-contained miracle of nutrition, a symbol of new life, and for many, a beloved and comforting staple of their daily diet. We are talking about the humble, yet magnificent egg. For decades, the egg has been the subject of a relentless and confusing nutritional tug-of-war. One year, we are told it is a superfood, packed with high-quality protein, essential vitamins, and brain-boosting choline. The next, we are warned that it is a cholesterol-laden villain, a dangerous food that will clog our arteries and put us on a fast track to a heart attack. This endless cycle of conflicting headlines has left most of us in a state of profound confusion, cautiously eating our morning omelet with a lingering sense of guilt and uncertainty. The problem we are going to confront today, in its entirety, is that this entire debate, this obsessive focus on the question of, are eggs good or bad, has been a dangerous distraction. It has caused us to completely ignore a far more immediate, and in some cases, a far more lethal set of risks. The truth is, the egg itself is a nutritional powerhouse, but the way we handle, prepare, and combine this powerful food can transform it from a source of vibrant health into a potential vector for serious, and in some rare cases, fatal illness. The problem is not the egg. The problem is the mistakes we make with it. We are not talking about the theoretical, long-term risks of cholesterol. We are talking about the acute, real-world dangers that can impact your health today, tomorrow, and next week. We are talking about the risk of debilitating food poisoning that can be particularly dangerous for an older adult with a more vulnerable immune system. We are talking about the creation of toxic, inflammatory compounds through improper cooking. We are talking about dangerous interactions with certain chronic health conditions that can turn this simple food into a metabolic landmine. And we are talking about the way we combine eggs with other foods, unknowingly creating a meal that can put a tremendous strain on our heart and our digestive system. Today, we are going to put the cholesterol debate on the back burner and embark on a far more important journey. We are going to systematically uncover the 7 critical and potentially fatal mistakes that people make with eggs every single day. We will not just list these mistakes. We will explore the deep, biological science behind why each one is so dangerous. We will provide you with a clear, unequivocal, and life-saving set of rules for choosing, storing, preparing, and consuming eggs in a way that maximizes their incredible benefits while completely eliminating their potential risks. This is your ultimate safety manual for one of the world's most popular foods. It is a masterclass in turning a food of confusion and fear into a trusted, reliable, and profoundly nourishing ally in your quest for a long and healthy life. Before we dive into our 7 deadly mistakes, it is essential that we first pay homage to the egg itself and understand why it is such a remarkable food, especially for a person over the age of 60. This will help us to appreciate just what is at stake and why it is so important to get this right. The egg is quite simply nature's most perfect protein. A single large egg contains about 6 grams of the highest quality protein available in any food. It is a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 of the essential amino acids in the perfect ratios for building and repairing tissues in the human body. This is particularly crucial for combating sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass. The protein in eggs is also incredibly bioavailable, meaning it is very easily digested and utilized by the body, a key consideration for a mature digestive system. The yolk, which for so long was the vilified part of the egg, is actually a treasure trove of vital nutrients. It is one of the richest sources in the entire food supply of a nutrient called choline. Choline is absolutely essential for brain health. It is a building block for a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which is critical for memory, mood, and muscle control. A deficiency in choline has been linked to a faster rate of cognitive decline. The yolk is also packed with lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 powerful antioxidants that are famous for their role in protecting our eyes from age-related macular degeneration and cataracts. And it is a fantastic source of vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin that is so crucial for muscle strength and bone health, as well as a host of B vitamins, which are the spark plugs for our entire energy metabolism. So given this incredible nutritional profile, where do we go so wrong? How do we take this perfect package of life-giving nutrients and turn it into a source of potential harm? This brings us to our first, and perhaps most common and dangerous, mistake. Mistake number 1. making assumptions about the shell's protection. We have a deep, psychological trust in the eggshell. It seems like a perfect, impermeable fortress, a natural sealed container that protects the pristine yolk and white within. This is a dangerous and potentially fatal assumption. The eggshell is not a solid wall of calcium. It is a porous structure, covered in thousands of tiny, microscopic pores. These pores are essential during incubation to allow the developing chick to breathe. But after the egg is laid, these pores can become a gateway for one of the most notorious and dangerous bacteria in our food supply, Salmonella. Salmonella is a bacterium that lives in the intestinal tracts of many animals, including chickens. If the hen that laid the egg is infected, the bacteria can contaminate the outer surface of the shell as the egg passes through the cloaca. Now, if this egg is left at room temperature, and particularly if there is any moisture on the shell, these Salmonella bacteria can, over time, literally travel through the pores and into the nutrient-rich interior of the egg. The inside of an egg is the perfect incubator for bacterial growth. It is warm, moist, and packed with nutrients. A single Salmonella bacterium that makes its way inside can multiply into millions in a matter of hours or days if the conditions are right. For a young, healthy person, a Salmonella infection might result in a few miserable days of digestive upset. But for an older adult, whose immune system may be less robust, or for anyone with an underlying health condition, a Salmonella infection can be far more serious. It can lead to severe dehydration, bacteremia, where the infection spreads to the bloodstream, and in some cases, it can be fatal. This is not a theoretical risk. The CDC estimates that Salmonella causes over 1 million illnesses in the United States every year. So what is the life-saving rule to correct this mistake? It is a two-part rule. First, always, without exception, store your eggs in the main body of your refrigerator, not in the door. The temperature in the door of a refrigerator fluctuates dramatically every time you open it. The main body of the refrigerator maintains a consistent, cold temperature, typically below 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius. This cold temperature does not kill the Salmonella, but it dramatically slows down its ability to multiply. It is like putting the bacteria into a state of suspended animation, preventing a small, manageable contamination from becoming a massive, dangerous one. Second, never wash your eggs before storing them. In many countries, including the United States, commercial eggs are washed and sanitized before they are packaged. This process removes a natural, protective layer called the bloom or cuticle. If you rewash the eggs at home, you can inadvertently force bacteria from the surface through the pores into the egg's interior. You should only rinse an egg immediately before you are about to crack it and cook it. By following this simple storage protocol, you are creating the first and most important line of defense against a serious and preventable illness. This leads us directly to the second critical mistake, which is the logical and dangerous consequence of the first. Mistake number 2, consuming undercooked eggs. Even if you have stored your eggs perfectly, there is still a small chance that the egg was contaminated with Salmonella before the shell was even formed, a process called transovarian transmission. This means that even a pristine-looking egg from a healthy farm could potentially harbor a small amount of the bacteria. Therefore, the final and most definitive line of defense is proper cooking. The allure of a soft-boiled egg with a runny yolk for dipping toast, or a sunny-side-up egg with a glistening, liquid center is powerful. For generations, these have been cherished breakfast staples. But for a person over the age of 70, these preparations represent an unacceptable roll of the dice. Cooking to a proper temperature is the only way to guarantee that any potential Salmonella bacteria, whether on the outside or the inside of the egg, are killed and rendered harmless. What is the proper temperature? Both the yolk and the white of the egg must be cooked until they are firm. A runny yolk has not reached a temperature sufficient to kill the bacteria. This means that sunny side up, over easy, soft-boiled, and poached eggs with liquid yolks are all off the table. Does this mean you have to eat dry, rubbery, overcooked eggs for the rest of your life? Absolutely not. You can make a beautiful, fluffy, and perfectly safe omelet. You can make creamy, delicious scrambled eggs. You can make hard-boiled eggs, which are perfect for salads or as a simple snack. You can make a frittata or a quiche. All of these preparations allow the egg to be cooked through to a safe temperature without sacrificing flavor or texture. This is not about fear-mongering. It is about a simple, rational risk assessment. The small, fleeting pleasure of a runny yolk is simply not worth the potentially devastating risk of a serious foodborne illness at an age when your body has less reserve to fight it off. This is a non-negotiable rule for health and safety. Always cook your eggs until the yolk is firm. Now we move from the microbiological dangers to the biochemical dangers, the things that happen when we cook and combine eggs in the wrong way. This brings us to mistake number 3. Pairing eggs with the wrong partners. An egg is not an island. It is almost always eaten as part of a larger meal. And the company it keeps can either enhance its benefits or turn it into a pro-inflammatory, heart-stressing disaster. Consider the classic American breakfast. 2 fried eggs, several strips of bacon or a couple of sausage links, a side of greasy hash browns, and a piece of white toast with butter. While this might be a nostalgic and comforting meal, from a physiological standpoint, it is a declaration of war on your cardiovascular system. Let's break down why this combination is so dangerous. First, we have the processed meats. Bacon, sausage, and ham are loaded with sodium, which is a primary driver of high blood pressure. They also contain nitrates and other preservatives that, when cooked at high heat, can form inflammatory compounds called nitrosamines. Second, we have the high load of saturated fat from both the meat and the butter, which can raise levels of the bad LDL cholesterol. Third, we have the refined carbohydrates from the white toast and the potatoes, which are often fried in unhealthy, inflammatory oils. This causes a rapid spike in blood sugar and insulin, which is a major driver of inflammation. When you combine all of these elements, you create a perfect storm of inflammation. You have the high blood pressure from the sodium, the inflammatory compounds from the processed meat, the oxidized fats from the high heat frying, and the blood sugar spike from the refined carbs. The healthy, nutrient-rich egg is completely overwhelmed, its benefits drowned in a sea of pro-inflammatory signals. Eating a meal like this on a regular basis is a direct contributor to the process of atherosclerosis, the hardening of the arteries that leads to heart attacks and strokes. So, what is the life-saving correction? We must learn to pair our eggs with anti-inflammatory partners. Instead of bacon, have a side of sliced avocado. The avocado provides healthy monounsaturated fats and a huge dose of potassium, which actually helps to lower your blood pressure. Instead of greasy hash browns, have a side of sautéed spinach and mushrooms, or some sliced tomatoes. These vegetables are packed with antioxidants, fiber, and minerals that help to combat inflammation. And instead of white toast, choose a single slice of 100% whole grain or sprouted grain toast, which provides fiber to slow down the absorption of sugar. A heart-healthy, life-affirming breakfast could be a 2-egg omelet filled with spinach and a little bit of feta cheese, served with a side of sliced avocado and a cup of berries. In this meal, every single component is working in synergy to reduce inflammation, to provide high-quality nutrients, and to support your cardiovascular health. The way you build the plate around your eggs is just as important as the eggs themselves. This leads us to our 4th mistake, which is directly related to the cooking process itself. Mistake number 4. Cooking eggs at too high a temperature. We live in a culture of speed. We want our food fast, so we often turn the burner on our stove up to high to cook our eggs in a minute or two. This is a critical and dangerous error. The cholesterol in the egg yolk, which has been the subject of so much debate, is actually quite stable and harmless in its natural state. However, when it is exposed to very high heat in the presence of oxygen, it can become oxidized. Oxidized cholesterol is a completely different beast. It is a toxic, inflammatory compound. It is the rusted cholesterol that we have discussed in other contexts. This is the form of cholesterol that can initiate the process of plaque formation in your arteries. When you fry an egg in a screaming hot pan, especially if you break the yolk and spread it out, you are maximizing its exposure to both high heat and oxygen. You are, in effect, creating the very substance that is so damaging to your arteries. The crispy, brown, lacy edges on a fried egg might taste good, but they are a sign of high heat oxidation. The solution is to embrace the art of low and slow cooking for your eggs. When you make scrambled eggs, cook them in a non-stick pan over a medium-low heat, stirring them gently. They will take a few minutes longer, but you will be rewarded with creamy, delicious, and biochemically safe eggs. When you make an omelet, cook it over a gentle, medium heat, allowing it to set slowly. The goal is to cook the egg through to a safe temperature without aggressively browning or crisping it. What about the cooking fat? The type of fat you use is also critical. Cooking with a stable, healthy fat like a small amount of avocado oil, coconut oil, or even a little bit of grass-fed butter is a far better choice than using processed vegetable oils like corn, soy, or canola oil, which are high in inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids and are very unstable at high heat. By cooking your eggs gently in a healthy fat, you are preserving the integrity of the nutrients within the yolk and preventing the creation of dangerous, artery-damaging compounds. Now we must address the issue of quantity, which brings us to mistake number 5, believing that more is always better. Given the incredible nutrient density of eggs, it can be tempting to think that eating a lot of them is a great strategy, especially for meeting our increased protein needs as we age. However, like with most things in nutrition, the dose makes the poison, and there is a point of diminishing returns, and even potential harm, for certain individuals. For the vast majority of the healthy population, the old, draconian limits of only a few eggs per week have been largely debunked. Numerous large-scale studies have shown that for most people, an intake of up to 1 or even 2 whole eggs per day is perfectly safe and does not have a significant impact on their risk of heart disease. However, there is a very important exception to this rule. A small percentage of the population are what is known as hyperresponders to dietary cholesterol. In these individuals, eating a large amount of cholesterol does lead to a significant increase in their blood levels of LDL cholesterol. Additionally, and perhaps more importantly, for individuals who already have established type 2 diabetes or heart disease, the data is more cautious. Some studies have suggested that in these specific populations, a higher intake of eggs, more than 1 per day, may be associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular events. The science is still evolving, but it points to a clear and sensible recommendation: moderation and personalization. If you are a healthy, active older adult with no history of heart disease or diabetes, enjoying 1 to 2 eggs per day as part of an overall healthy diet is likely a very beneficial practice. However, if you have diabetes, have already had a heart attack or stroke, or have been told by your doctor that you have very high LDL cholesterol, it would be prudent to moderate your intake to around 4 to 6 whole eggs per week, and to work closely with your healthcare provider to monitor your blood markers. The key is to avoid nutritional extremism. Eggs are not a free food that can be eaten in unlimited quantities without consequence, nor are they a toxic poison to be avoided at all costs. They are a powerful, nutrient-dense food to be consumed thoughtfully and in moderation, in the context of your own personal health history. This brings us to our 6th mistake, which is directly related to the individual context of your health. Mistake number 6: ignoring your own body's signals and underlying conditions. The egg, despite its nutritional brilliance, can be a problematic food for a significant number of people due to 2 primary issues: allergies and intolerances. A true egg allergy is an immune system response, typically to the protein in the egg white. This can cause symptoms ranging from hives and digestive upset to a severe, life-threatening anaphylactic reaction. Most people with a true egg allergy are aware of it from a young age. However, it is possible to develop food intolerances later in life. An egg intolerance is not a true allergic reaction, but a digestive issue. It can cause symptoms like bloating, gas, stomach pain, or changes in bowel habits. These symptoms can be delayed, appearing hours or even a day after consuming eggs, making it difficult to connect the cause and effect. If you consistently feel unwell after eating eggs, it is crucial that you listen to your body. It may be a sign that you have a sensitivity or that the eggs are exacerbating an underlying digestive condition. Furthermore, for individuals with certain autoimmune conditions, eggs can sometimes be a trigger food that can worsen inflammation and symptoms. This is highly individual, but it is an important consideration. The life-saving rule here is to become a mindful eater and a careful observer of your own body. If you suspect that eggs might be causing you issues, you can try a simple elimination diet. Remove them from your diet completely for 2 to 3 weeks and see if your symptoms improve. Then, reintroduce them and carefully observe how you feel. Your body possesses an incredible intelligence. It is constantly sending you signals about what nourishes it and what harms it. The mistake is to ignore these signals in favor of a generic dietary rule. Finally, we come to our seventh and final mistake, a mistake that happens before the egg even enters your kitchen. Mistake number 7. Assuming that all eggs are created equal. We stand in the grocery store in front of a vast and confusing wall of egg cartons. There are eggs labeled cage-free, free-range, organic, and pasture-raised. There are white eggs and brown eggs. And there is a significant difference in price between them. It is very easy to assume that these are just marketing gimmicks and that an egg is just an egg. This is a profound and nutritionally significant mistake. The way a hen is raised has a dramatic and measurable impact on the nutritional quality of the egg she produces. Let's quickly decode these labels. A standard, conventional egg comes from a hen raised in a small battery cage, often with no room to even turn around. They are typically fed a diet of genetically modified corn and soy. Cage-free simply means the hens are not in cages, but they are often still confined indoors in a crowded barn. Free-range means they have some access to the outdoors, but the amount of time and the quality of the outdoor space can vary dramatically. The gold standard, the type of egg that is nutritionally superior in every way, is the pasture-raised egg. This term means that the hen was raised outdoors on a pasture, where she was able to engage in her natural behaviors, foraging for insects, worms, and grasses. This natural, varied diet dramatically changes the nutritional composition of the yolk. Studies comparing pasture-raised eggs to conventional eggs have found that the pasture-raised yolks can contain significantly more vitamin D, more vitamin E, more beta-carotene, a precursor to vitamin A, and a much healthier ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids. They are quite simply a different food. The choice you make in the grocery store is a direct investment in the quality of the nutrients you are putting into your body. While pasture-raised eggs are more expensive, they can be thought of not as a simple commodity, but as a form of nutritional insurance. If you are going to eat this powerful food, it is worth seeking out the highest quality version you can find and afford. This is not about nutritional elitism. It is about recognizing the profound and direct link between the health of the animal and the health-giving properties of the food it produces. So, let us now consolidate our knowledge into a clear, actionable, and life-affirming protocol for consuming eggs safely and for maximum benefit. We can call it the Golden Egg Blueprint. Rule 1. You will treat the shell with respect. You will store your eggs in the coldest part of your refrigerator, not the door, and you will not wash them until right before use. Rule 2. You will always cook your eggs thoroughly, until both the white and the yolk are firm, to eliminate the risk of salmonella. Rule 3. You will build an anti-inflammatory plate around your eggs, pairing them with vegetables, avocados, and other whole foods, and divorcing them from their traditional partners of processed meats and refined carbohydrates. Rule 4. You will cook your eggs low and slow, using a stable, healthy fat, to prevent the dangerous oxidation of the cholesterol in the yolk. Rule 5. You will practice mindful moderation, consuming a quantity of eggs that is appropriate for your own personal health history, in consultation with your doctor. Rule 6. You will listen to your own body, paying close attention to any signs of intolerance or digestive distress. And Rule 7. You will choose the highest quality, pasture-raised eggs that you can access and afford, recognizing that the diet of the hen directly determines the nutritional power of the egg. This blueprint transforms the egg from a source of confusion and risk into one of the most powerful, reliable, and beneficial foods you can eat, especially as you navigate the unique nutritional challenges of life after 60 and 70. It is a testament to the idea that there are no good or bad foods. There are only wise and unwise ways to incorporate them into our lives. By avoiding these 7 critical mistakes, you are not just protecting yourself from immediate harm. You are harnessing the full life-giving potential of this incredible food. You are providing your brain with the choline it needs for memory, your eyes with the antioxidants they need for vision, and your muscles with the perfect protein they need for strength and vitality. You are turning your morning meal into a profound act of self-care, an investment in a future that is not defined by weakness and fear, but by strength, clarity, and an unwavering confidence in your own health.